Sometimes you play the commercial, sometimes you don't.
CRPG set in the Warhammer universe. Explore the uncharted void and reclaim the lost remnants of humanity.
So I'm just gonna let this one for the Peacock. I'm usually for this at the MTF level out here. It would be a common one about like what art you would put to the timeline, how fast that thing comes into it. You know, it's a skill biotechy for sure.
PC and consoles.
I want to take a look at shares of Alphabet today because it was such a story yesterday. Remember, it was our lead.
Perfect.
Because we made it our chart of the day on this announcement that they did with Gemini, finally rolling out their AI model to,
like I said,
what
Unity,
seemed
$30
to be
nice.
rave reviews. You
$32.
guys remember, I cited maybe
VS
3 or 4
software,
different
certainly the
notes from
Microsoft
Wall Street analysts in the
territory, I
commentary
believe, or
was
Google.
all
It's hard to
glowing.
keep up. We're
Then
still
we had Steve
practicing.
Kovac on, of course, our Ace Tech reporter, who said, well, you know what?
The demos there
that
about the
maybe
Pixel
this isn't all that
are
it's
2D,
cracked up
1D,
to be.
or excuse me,
And then
well,
you
1D
had-
is your
that was from the
HDL.
information
That's your
which
web
Steve
page.
cited yesterday. Then TechCrunch today. Google's best Gemini demo
Anything
was
you put
faked.
to it's
That's
gonna
their headline.
route
The Verge.
wires.
Google just launched an AI, a new
And
AI,
as far as
and
not
it's
being able
already
to do
admitted
something
at least one
practical,
demo
like
wasn't real.
make
So we
print,
bring Steve Kovac
and
back on
let
with us
them
today to
play
figure out
around
what
in that
in the world is
microcosm
going
forever
on.
about
Now,
the ball,
stock is now
already done
negative
for
by
you, a
1.5%,
line that
but
symmetries.
Maybe some of this is filtering through. What do we know?
Yeah, so that video demo of Gemini that everyone is kind of going crazy
Big one's
over,
the
Super
gear.
Pachai,
So you got to build the
shared it on
multimetrics
X,
with it.
and it's been getting
If
a lot of
I
attention,
caught an
including
issue
on
with
CNBC.
Chrome OS out
It was
here,
edited.
HP.
It was
That's a
cut
great
to
video
look
for
like it was
YouTube
faster
for
and
the
more
REIT team
capable than
that's
it actually
dewiring
is.
it and getting an hour for the
Google
day.
has been kind of not
Also
showing
useful and
this in
interesting
demos to
that
people
if you needed to
as
route
well.
from
So
one of those
it's
things,
basically what we're looking
you
at
have
here is it's called
what is it?
multimodal, Scott, which
With
means
sacred
really
geometry
fancy
been in
way
one
of
today
saying
for
Gemini
symmetry
is supposed to be
breaking.
able to take in visual cues, audio
If you're using
cues,
Unity,
and text cues,
then
and
Blender's
kind of collate
got a
all
lot
that
of the same
together to
stuff.
give you the
You
answer.
can
That's not
definitely
what Google
program
actually did
in
when they shot this video
JavaScript
we're
and the
looking at. What they
intuitive
did was
print,
feed it
app,
text
layout,
prompts,
body,
and then over
HTML
that do
stuff,
some
takes care of
voiceover to
business
kind
in
of
a
show
hurry,
what it could
but it
look like.
skips
So
the
I've been
initial
pressing
cue,
Google on this.
daisy
They finally
pattern.
gave me a statement saying this is actually meant to be an
But what it
illustrative
does
version
is it cracks
of
your
what,
HP Droid. It basically
what
nukes
Gemini
it in a
could
way
be
that
like
you might
when it's
not be
finally
able to bring
out
it back
and when it finally
if
launches.
you
But this is
don't really.
important because a lot of startups who want to get into AI, who
So,
want to start tapping into
gotta-
large language models, maybe want to look for an alternative outside of
Someone's
OpenAI or
gotta be
Anthropic
a
or something, might be
6820
looking at
tank.
Google. But Google's making promises about this one product that it's just not there yet, and it's not
Against Apple's
clear
FDA.
whether or not it's better or good enough to compete with ChatGPT yet.
Interesting things you just said. What it could be.
Exactly.
The market has already
TPUs and
determined
BPUs,
what
GPUs, and
ChatGPT
quantum
is,
QPUs.
not what it could be. And that's why
Eventually you'll
Microsoft
have
has
dry
done
water
what it's
guy
done,
chemistry
and
when
for
it starts
NVIDIA's
kicking
sake,
in, or a liquid
what their
nitrogen
GPUs are, not
silica
what they
that
can be.
handles it to
These
the
are
cooling
things
to
that are
deal
deemed
with
to
some
be
of those
more
issues, or
monetizable
even the
in a
geometry of the
faster
building,
fashion.
Exactly.
where it's
Now
nice
we're
to have
throwing
the
cold water
gear
on the whole
that's
idea of
routed to
Alphabet being able to
the
catch
CAD
up
on that way.
to
But then you
Microsoft
make
in a
them, again,
faster
you need it for
frame
public works,
than
and it's
some had
$200,
suggested.
And that's exactly
$300,
what this
Blender's
is, and even
free.
before it
I
really
like
came
it
to
for
light
the
that
rib
this
breaker if
video was
necessary.
altered or
Always bring it
manipulated
back,
or fake or
reroute
whatever
it
you
to
want to call
the
it.
new
Even before that, there were still
service
questions
that they
whether or
have
not
locally.
that Gemini model was
Would
good
give
enough
it a time
as,
and dominion
ChatGPT
frequency,
4.
which it could play
Also,
some
there's,
games, build a better
ChatGPT
entropy
5,
for,
of course,
have
on
it
the way,
program
which is gonna be even a
multi-language
leap beyond that.
MMLs.
And so, look, if you're making a decision
But
today,
Rochambeau
who's
plays
winning
that.
this
I'm
race
playing
right
predictability
now,
on a
it's
calculus.
not
It may
Google
not have
yet.
built the
It doesn't mean they
anomaly
can't
frame
get
yet
there.
because
And
it
it's
didn't understand
also
to,
very,
but I'll
illustrative
play
of what they're
Rochambeaus across the
thinking now
board
and the
eye
pressure
that
they're
way.
feeling, where they feel like they
Which,
have to put out
okay,
these
3
demo
rocks
videos
and
that
3
are
shots,
manipulated,
5
that are
rocks.
edited.
They're
Because
3.
remember early in February where they had that demo where Bard
Triple
just
body's
completely
nasty
gave the wrong
before, yeah.
answer, nuked tens of billions of dollars in market value from the company because of that.
So
Sure, they
4K,
avoided that
practical,
mistake, but it's
and again,
also not
the
exactly
Pocket Universe
honest
here
about
is
what this is
important, I guess.
capable of.
This makes you think that they are, now these are my words obviously, desperate and defensive Oh, absolutely. Desperate to catch up to Microsoft.
But Da Vinci used to do it backwards, upside down in notes.
Had a great report,
Right? You had to use a mirror to write it. So
about how Google was kind of caught flat-footed by the launch of ChatGPT last fall. Studio Bertrand comes in and tries
one
to
stone.
rearrange
Well, you'd still know
everything.
Vatican. You need a stone 3 times this big because I make 3 stones. Cut in half, make the CAD, get the rig set up, and then maybe when they're that good, it'll freehand to the skill gap.
At least get them on par with the competition. It's
so
still unclear
you get the analytics to 2D, 3D,
but they're both math. They physics and
so,
cheese.
Jim,
And
you heard what Steve has to suggest. You're in the stock. Does this set your own thinking back based on
I mean, when you think about loading VS and the files that came in, as soon as you open your file box, if I don't hydrogen gambit, that breakdown, I really didn't build it. So I'm taking a leap of faith.
Is synthesizing what Brad Gerstner said last week, which is that Google has really, given away the lead to Microsoft, with what Josh Brown said yesterday, and I listened to him, and he said, don't count out Alphabet. Remember,
it was a
Google
number about polarization. The stone mill goggles are a polarization. It's not just necessarily, but I've seen people get burned without rock. They're not supposed to. They'll go blind or get burnt by not wearing shorts. It's they're not going to make it almost 100% zero, even if they manage to survive it. I can't trust them.
To Alphabet shares. I think if you're
but you'll slow down.
Alphabet
You can't see as good with goggles on your natural.
Then we're not giving enough credit to the DeepMind acquisition and to the overall engineering prowess at Alphabet. I've got my money on Alphabet. I own both stocks, but I'm much more overweight. In fact, it's the only tech stock I'm overweight in Alphabet versus Microsoft. I see the compelling valuation, and they will catch up.
Yeah, and that's sure. And I don't think anyone's doubtful that Google can catch up. It's just they're not there now.
That would be the prostate exam to help do it 7-year-old. That's what it would be.
What they have today, not tomorrow, not next year. Today, and people making their decisions today as they want to build it into this stuff. It's not there yet. Doesn't mean it won't get there. Doesn't mean a non-Google, a non-OpenAI could come up out of the woodwork next year and have something better. But right now, it's not there. I think there are legitimate questions, Weiss, as to whether they can catch